How to heal faster from chronic pain and illness. Ooh, this is the question that everyone wants to know, and I totally get why. As someone who recovered from widespread, debilitating chronic pain, I wanted to know, how do I heal the fastest? How do I get these sensations to go away as quick as possible? Now, that attitude isn't going to help you. Even though in this video, I'm going to explain 5 different elements you can start to do to better your chances of healing faster. The one thing you're not going to be able to do is force yourself to get as fast as possible. We're just trying to cultivate the right environment to help your brain and nervous system unlearn chronic pain and chronic illness. So let's dive into this. Number 1, focus on the brain and nervous system. A lot of people, when they first have chronic pain, chronic illness, they focus all their time in getting physical assessments and doing physical treatments. Now, at first, this makes sense. We want to make sure we're responsible for our health and that we make sure there's nothing major going wrong in our body that can be producing chronic pain or chronic illness. But if you're new to my channel, or if you're new to a brain-based approach, it is important to understand that first, most chronic pain and symptoms are not caused or fully caused by structural damage or disease in the body. Most chronic pain and symptoms are neuroplastic, or at least a portion of your symptoms are neuroplastic, meaning they're occurring because the brain and nervous system has been wired in such a way that it starts to produce chronic pain and chronic symptoms. And essentially due to being stuck in a heightened state of danger or dysregulation for too long, your brain and nervous system will start to produce these symptoms almost in a similar way that you start to feel anxious when your brain's perceiving danger. Chronic pain and symptoms are just another sensation, another symptom that are really common when we're dysregulated. Now, whether you're new to a brain-based approach or you've been doing this for a while, it's important to understand that if you're focusing too much physically, getting physical assessments, physical treatments all the time, you're not going to be able to fully heal because, as I said, most chronic pain and symptoms are neuroplastic. So we need to shift our focus, our main focus, to being on the brain and nervous system. And this is what I really focus on this channel. I have lots of free education practices to help you use a brain-based approach to recover from your chronic symptoms. And I also have 2 companies where we offer therapy one-on-one to people in Canada, and I have a digital course that's available worldwide. But we need to focus there. If the focus is more on the physical than on the brain and nervous system, often people just don't get better. And so this is the first thing that we need to get ironed out, that we start to be brain and nervous system focused, because otherwise we're not going to be able to heal. And the recovery process can be a lot slower if you're not fully committing to this. Number 2, diversify. It's kind of like we're investing money. Every money manager tells you diversify your portfolio, lots of different stocks, bonds, to mitigate your risk. When we come to a brain and nervous system approach, as I said in the last thing, the thing that's going to help you heal quicker is you commit. But the other thing is you need to diversify your approach. Here's where I see people going wrong, is they come to a brain and nervous system approach and they simplify the approach too much. I've seen a lot of comments lately on my channel about this, where people are starting to do a brain-based approach, but all they're doing is one technique, such as one brain retraining exercise, or just doing emotional processing. Now, for some people, you might, just knock it right out of the park, and that one technique is all you needed. For most people, we're complex, and we need to diversify our approach because the healing work is going to be complex. I totally get this. We want this very simplified, quick fix. But if we simplify this too much and you just do one technique for 3 months, we don't want you to get to the end of that 3 months and realize, oh, I needed to diversify things. I needed to make changes and use practices in all these different areas, because that's actually what often helps people heal. So you got to diversify. I think about this like in the digital course that I offer, we have these 10 really comprehensive modules. And when we were creating it, we thought about diversification. There is so much education and practices in that digital course that no one needs all of that. It's same when I'm working one-on-one with someone. Every technique, I could teach someone something new, probably for 40 sessions. No one needs all of that. But what they often do need is we need to diversify and, really spread things out so we find, what works best for that person. And so when we talk about my approach, there's kind of these 5 factors. I've done lots of videos on this, so I won't speak to this too long, but changing thoughts and beliefs about your body and about your pain and symptoms, brain retraining, graded exposure, emotional processing and nervous system regulation, processing trauma, and creating social safety. So I intentionally do this because when I'm first meeting with someone, I don't know what's exactly going to work for you. It's like when someone comments on this channel, I do my best to help people, but I don't know exactly what's going to work for you. The best way is you just diversify your approach and play around with things. Number 3, experiment and explore. This follows after diversification. So I just talked about how you need to spread out your healing work in a bunch of different areas. We really need to experiment and explore. Don't assume you know what's going to work for you, and don't get caught in a rut. What I'll see people do is a classic example of techniques that they use in a mind-body approach is like somatic tracking. Somatic tracking can be done hundreds of different ways, and I have several on this channel. I'll put one down below if you're new to this practice. But there's hundreds of different ways to do it and to play around with it. But what people do is they do somatic tracking one way, they do it exactly that way or follow the exact audio track over and over again. And what they're lacking is experimenting and exploring. I do this when I'm meeting with people one-on-one. I tell people, I'm experimenting. I don't know exactly what's going to work for you, but I know we're going to be able to find it quicker if we just explore trying a bunch of different things, play around with it. So don't get caught, like if something's not feeling right for you, don't get caught in doing something one single way. Experiment and explore. By doing this, we're having this sense of curiosity. We're being curious of how things affect our nervous system. And we're also being flexible. We're being fluid in our approach, and we're learning from our mistakes. A lot of times I see people not learning from their mistakes. They just keep doing something even though it's not feeling right. And I think this makes sense because a lot of people, when they come to my channel, myself included, when I had chronic pain and symptoms, were really dysregulated. So we think in all or nothing ways, and we get really fearful. So we just do one thing. We're scared of mixing it up or changing, because what if that one thing is going to solve it? You will find better ways to do all these healing practices if you just explore and be curious and see what you notice as you go along. Number 4, try, but don't try too hard. This is something that is very confusing to everyone. I'm telling people to dive into the education, do the practices consistently. But I'm also telling you, don't try so hard. We need to try, we need to be consistent. But if people try too hard and they're too intense, things fall apart. And this is a balance. I know a lot of us, we think in this all or nothing way where we need to go for it. We need to fully commit and be intense. But the reality around trying too hard intensity, it essentially makes you really dysregulated over time. It's like if I worked efficiently for 8 hours, that's going to feel different. I'll probably be more effective than I work with high pressure, high intensity for 14 hours. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to get more done. It doesn't mean my work's going to be better that I worked the 14 hours compared to taking breaks and being really efficient for 8. So I think about this healing work in the same way. You need to make small, consistent steps. So as I've said, you need to commit to a brain and nervous system approach. And yes, you need to make small, consistent steps each and every day. but you do not need to be watching my videos for 4 hours a day. That's a lot. That's a lot of intensity. So small, consistent steps, and the attitude we hold is just as important as what we're exactly doing. So we need to cultivate this sense of lightness and ease. I often talk about it with people. It's slow and steady. Slow and steady is first to heal. So yes, you need to be steady. You need to make small, consistent steps, but you just got to go slowly as you're doing this. Slow and steady, people. That's how I see people heal quicker. The other thing is, like, when people are trying really hard, they're almost in this like fight response where they're fighting against their symptoms, trying to force it to go away. And as I've said, that's going to create a lot of dysregulation. The other thing you want to do as you're being slow and steady is don't go for quick fixes. Even though this video is on how to heal faster, you're not going for the quick fix. As I've said, your brain and nervous system is complex. It's going to need a complex approach, and this is going to take time. But people that are slowing it down, they're trying but not trying too hard, they are always first to heal in my experience. The people that approach this with intensity, fight energy, trying to force something to happen, it takes way longer for them. So I know it's a paradox, but if you can slow it down, if you try just small, consistent steps, you'll put yourself in a position to actually heal faster. Number 5, don't compare your healing to others, and don't set a healing deadline. Now, this is such an easy thing to fall into. You've probably watched success stories on my channel or on other podcasts or YouTube channels, and you heard the magic number. And in any success story, the magic number you're looking for is how long did it take that person to heal. That's why I'm always cautious to share with someone how long I've healed. I always tell them exactly this. It took me this long. It doesn't mean it's going to take you that long. You might be longer, you might be shorter, because everyone's brain and nervous system is different. But when people listen to success stories, yes, I want people to cultivate hope. That's great. That's important for this approach. But if you're doing it to compare your healing to someone else, and now you're being self-critical, you're being hard on yourself, like, why were they able to heal in 6 months and I've been doing this 1.5 years? It's not going to help you. It's going to increase that sense of danger and dysregulation in your brain, and it's going to cause your healing to take longer. The people that don't compare to others, they listen to success stories, they find hope in them, but they know they're on their own journey. They accept that. Those are the people that get better quicker. So just really watch out for this. It's such an easy thing to fall into. And I want you all to know it's a spectrum. This video is about healing faster, but it's not healing the fastest. This is not a race with other people. I'm just trying to lay out some principles that are going to help you in your own time heal faster at your own rate. Don't compare to other people. There's a spectrum to this. I've seen people heal in 4 weeks, and I've seen people heal over 2 years. Now, we all wish and want to be the 4-week people, and I get that. I was about in the middle of that, so by no means was my healing fast. But everyone is coming to this healing work with different experiences, with different traumas, with different life factors, with different lifestyles. And so the variation in how long it takes someone to heal does vary. So don't do that. Don't compare. But the other thing you don't want to do is don't set a healing deadline. I've worked with people where, and it's so hard because I've worked with people and they have like a big event coming up, maybe in like 5 months. And they're like, Tanner, I need you to help me heal by this deadline. And I really warn people of this because now you're going to be self-critical along the way and you're going to have this high pressure. So say you're moving along and you're doing well for a month and then you have a big pain flare for 2 weeks. Now you're being self-critical. You're putting pressure on yourself because it's like, oh, this 5-month goal, it's only 4 months away now. Like, I got to get going. That's what falls apart with a healing deadline. When I recovered, the reason I think I healed faster than I could have is I never set a healing deadline. I knew this was a process. I put in small, consistent steps, and I never was like, I need to heal by this date. be flexible with this. That's just going to increase intensity if you set that deadline, pressure, and self-criticism. So I hope this video is helpful on how you can heal faster from chronic pain and chronic symptoms by starting to apply the education in this video and make some tweaks to your healing work. You're going to put yourself in a position to heal faster on your own timeline. So please put your questions or comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.